This is the Boss Space Echo RE202, and this is Boss's latest pedal that is a take on the Space Echo, the RE201, which is a tape machine from the 70s. And so this is a more in-depth type of pedal based on that unit. Boss had the RE20 for some time, but this is a more elaborate take on that pedal. So we have a bunch of functions and a bunch of knobs and 3 foot switches here. So the basic idea is we have 4 presets with a manual setting. So I'm in manual mode right now. And we still have the same mode selector head. We got an additional 4th head that will give us even more combination of heads and different sounds. Then we have the saturation, wow, and flutter, and we have a button here for guitar and line level right up front here. So this is definitely not only a guitar pedal. This is can be used in your digital audio workstation applications. You can use this on instruments and vocals and everything like that. So you can select line level or guitar level. We're obviously guitar level here. Then we have the tape age. We have new and aged. So this is going to kind of roll off some of the highs. So we were in the new setting in the beginning of this clip. And interesting, saturation has a couple different settings. So the RE201 had a preamp, and similar to the RE20, we have like a level input knob, and that cannot be bypassed on the unit. If you're running the unit in line in your signal chain, you cannot bypass that preamp. Sort of it adjusts the level, and it gives you a bit of a flavor to it. So in this pedal, what they did is in normal mode, the saturation only affects the repeats. So I turned it up just a little, and we'll explore like maximum settings. So it's kind of like distortion-ish sounds. And then we have a mode where we hold the tap as we power on the pedal. We can go into a RE201 mode where the input saturation happens to both the dry signal and the delay signal. So right now we're just saturating the repeats, but we can switch over to saturate both the dry and the echo signal. Wow and flutter is basically just tape modulation, so giving it a slower and quicker speeds, and that creates kind of this chorusy effect on the repeats. And then we go to the mode head selector. We can we have 12 different modes. So these are the heads: 1, 2, 3. Then it goes 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3. So basically different combinations of the heads. We're just when we're tapping in here, when we're on the single head modes, it doesn't really matter which head mode we're in. So I'm on 1, and I just tapped in my tempo. So then moving over here, we got REQ. So up and down is going to be flat, and then we can cut or boost our bass, cut and boost highs. This is our reverb. So this features a dedicated reverb knob, and we can actually toggle it on and off by holding this memory foot switch. So that's really cool. This reverb here is set to the RE201 style spring, but we have additional 4 more reverbs that we can select, and we'll actually go through and hear what those sound like. Then we have the repeat rate, which is our delay time. We can also tap that in. Intensity is repeats. And then we got echo volume. So this is the overall level for the delay. Then moving on to the foot switches, we have the on-off here. And we hold this down, and we go into warp, which is kind of a hold mode. And then the memory here, we can select, toggle through the 4 different memory settings by hitting this foot switch or holding it. We have reverb on and off. Then we have the tap, and then when we hold the tap, we go into a twist, so it kind of speeds up. And RE20 had that when you hold down the tap foot switch. So that's pretty much it. The pedal is stereo and stereo out. We have MIDI in, MIDI out, and we could do 127 presets via MIDI, and it has expression control as well. So I'm playing on the Strat, going into my daily driver overdrive. We're getting a little bit of overdrive, very light drive from the daily driver. It's the pedal I make. And then I go into the Space Echo and into my Vox AC30. All right, so let's start off with listening to the 5 different reverb types that this pedal has. As we turn up the reverb volume, and we're going to turn down the echo volume. And we'll listen to first the RE201 spring reverb. That's the first setting. And then the saturation will affect the reverb a little bit. So we'll turn that up with each reverb sound. So we have, to access these 5 different reverbs, we turn off the power, we hold the foot switch, the tap foot switch, and then we're going to plug the power in, and then we're going to go to mode selector 12, and then we're going to toggle between the manual 1, 2, 3, 4. And so those are going to be the selection of our 5 different reverbs. So the reverbs are spring, the 201 spring, that's the first one. We have hall, plate, room, and ambience. So let's start with the 201 spring and go through the other settings. So those were all the reverbs that this pedal offers, and I've blended them in with some delay as well to hear how well they mesh with the delay side of this pedal as well. And now let's move on to the actual delay part. We're going to explore all the different modes and the head combinations here, and we'll mess around with saturation, wow and flutter, and the EQ, so we'll hear what kind of sounds we can get.